Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to the Taqwa series part 1 by your coach Amina from Happy Home Coaching. Sisters, something that comes up over and over and over when I speak to you is um, your fear and struggle with connecting your child to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what we often do as parents is that we put a lot of pressure on making sure that our children learn a lot about Islam and the practices and, having the knowledge so that we can then, feel almost rest assured that we've done our part. And yes, the knowledge is important. Our children need to know, many things, in Islam and, need to learn how to read the Quran and how to pray, etc. But one of the most important things that we often miss out on is actually the actual connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as opposed to just having the knowledge. See, knowledge does not equal connection. Knowledge is there and it can be used, or it might not be used. So the first thing I wanted to talk to you about today is about the importance of actually taking your focus and putting it on the connection of, connecting your child with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the connection, as opposed to the knowledge. Yes, that requires knowledge, but it's knowledge in context. So let me give you some examples. Like our child learning about Islam, out of context can be really kind of, to many children, abstract, irrelevant. What does this mean for me? Children often have these, questions. When I teach the madrasa, I found that actually it was going over most of their heads. When you checked at the end of the class, what did they gain? It was just either they will repeat what you told them, but not really thought about it, or that they will hear you, but they haven't understood what it meant, not really, not in context. So what we miss is context. And if we look at the way that Islam was revealed, there's many clues there to how actually to connect our child to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. For example, when Islam was revealed, it didn't come, to rule out what's halal and haram and what you shouldn't do and what you should do and what's obligatory and what's not. It didn't come with, the rules and regulations and the practices. That's not how it was brought, to the people. Yet that's often how we bring it to our children. Instead, how it was brought was, for the Muslims to learn about who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was, who he was for them, and also for them to learn about Jannah. Once the people's hearts were connected to Allah and they wanted Jannah and they desired Jannah, like they really wanted it, they really wanted to go there, then the rules and regulations were introduced, because at that point I could give up alcohol because I want to go to Jannah. I could give up, whatever I was doing because I want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like you had your why, you had a motivation, you were connected. And, when if you think about teachers that you really wanted to impress, they were the ones who connected with you. They were the ones who made time for you. They were the ones who believed in you. And so when we are connected, we will want to follow. So that's the first thing, like for us to be aware of, like take the focus off knowledge and put the focus on connection. And when we're connecting, again, what does that mean? It means you teach your child about who Allah is for them in context. So, for example, it might be that your child is feeling scared. September, if you're in the UK and school starts in September and, you're about to prepare your child for going to school and they're feeling a bit anxious about leaving you, then that is a really great time to teach them about Allah, who is Al-Wali, the protecting friend. And you can teach your child about how he's always with them, how he's not going to leave them, how he is always protecting them. And as a friend does, always looking out for you, always supporting you, always there even when you didn't know that they were there. And so that they start building a connection with Allah in who He is for them, right? This is really, really important. And when they feel a bit nervous, remind them who is there. Remember, I have to go. I have to leave you at the gates. I have to go. But remember who's with you all day long, who will not leave you. And remind them, and they will tell you, Al-Wali is with me. Allah is Al-Wali. So as they start introducing the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to your child in context with what's going on with them, they will start to build a connection with Him subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you want to do that at whatever age they're at. It's never too late to start. Your examples will be different. The scenarios will be different. The context will be different. But actually, even as we as adults are learning about the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they're always relevant to us. Actually, they bring such peace to our hearts, comfort and reassurance. So, we're all looking for that, children and adult. So, one of the things you can do is look up some of the names of Allah, and I will be putting up some of the attribute, some of the names that are most commonly relevant to children as part of this series. And you can follow, you can read up about them and just talk to them, not in lecture form, but in relevance to them. Like, when you're scared, don't worry, because you are never alone. At that point, describe the attributes of Al-Wali. He's always going to be with you. He's not going to leave your side. He's always thinking of what's best for you. So as you describe, who Allah is for your child, of course, they're going to naturally love Him and, want to please Him and feel connected to Him. That's what we miss, or it might be that, you've got them a bit older, and one of the things that they always say is, oh, he's always unfair, life is always unfair, or you're always unfair. Then teach them about Allah's justice and teach them that Allah is the most just and He will never be unfair to them, that people are accountable for their actions. So if someone has wronged them, that they're accountable and they would have to account to Allah. But as for Allah, Allah is never unjust to them. So that they can start seeing that that person's behavior is about that person. That person is being unjust or being unfair, yes, but they're only harming themselves. They would have to account for that. But as for your child, they're always okay because Allah's always going to be fair to them. They can always handle whatever's happening to them. Allah is most merciful. Allah will never give your child more than He can bear. So as you start teaching them in the context of their life, of their struggles, of the things that they're challenged with, in those moments, those are great teaching opportunities to connect your child to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So I hope that gives you something to think about, and start to change your focus on not just having, passing on the knowledge, but becoming the storyteller, the one who helps connect your child to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And you're the best person to do that because you're there with them when they're going through those challenges. You know more than anyone what challenges they face, what they're struggling with, what they fear, what is it that they're scared of, how is it that they feel. So you'll be able to then find the attribute of Allah that is the closest to that and share it with them. Okay, well, I hope that helps, sisters. As part of this series, I'm giving away a free gift where you can book a one-to-one session with me. I call it the Happy Home Breakthrough Session. And so you can book a session to find out if you feel that actually your child's completely disconnected from the last one and you don't know how to get them back now that it's happened, and you want to be able to introduce it, but they're not listening to you, and you're facing challenges like that. We'll book a session and we can talk about the challenges and what needs to happen, inshallah, to be able to make that happen. Here's the link to my calendar, www.meetme.so/Amina Hossen. Look forward to speaking to you. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum, rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.